Bright turquoise water lapping against pristine white pebble beaches. Sun-drenched afternoons in busy little cafes. Stunning mountain landscapes that honestly look almost untouched.
And then there's the big one that everybody talks about online. An affordable European paradise where your money supposedly goes way further than you ever imagined.
And this is the Albania you've probably seen all over YouTube, TikTok, and travel blogs lately. It's constantly being sold as this hidden Mediterranean paradise that somehow the rest of the world missed. We're Matt and Diane, the Europats. And for the last year, we have been deep in research mode because we're planning to retire to Albania next March.
And honestly, we completely understand why people are excited about it. We were pulled in too by that story. But the deeper we got into researching all of this, the more we started asking ourselves, okay, but what does this actually look like for the people who live there?
Because the more we dug into it, the more we realized there's another side of this conversation that doesn't really make it into the highlight reels. And honestly, that's the side of the story we want to talk about today.
Hey y'all, we're Matt and Diane. We're a U.S. couple planning to retire in France in 2030. But we found a way to start that journey 3 years earlier by starting in Albania. So we're taking our time, digging into each place, and learning what life there is really like. Come with us.
It's no secret that Albania has absolutely exploded onto the world stage recently. In 2023, the country welcomed over 10 million foreign visitors, and in 2024, that number jumped again to over 11.7 million visitors. That's a huge increase in a really short amount of time.
And honestly, it makes sense when you look at what's happening global right now. People are looking for somewhere more affordable. Remote workers are looking for places with lower cost of living. Retirees are trying to stretch their money further, and travelers are looking for places that still feel authentic and not overly commercialized.
And online, Albania has basically become the ultimate package deal. You constantly hear the same words over and over again: underrated, affordable, safe, friendly locals, breathtaking scenery.
Oh, absolutely. We have watched videos where people talk about getting full meals for just a few euros or getting apartments near the beach for way less than they would pay back home. And honestly, it's easy to see why people get excited watching that kind of content.
Yeah, truthfully, that's the story that pulled us into. But the more we researched it, the more we realized a lot of this looks very different depending on whether you're visiting Albania or actually trying to live there long term.
And that's where things started to feel a little more complicated for us.
Because there's this kind of disconnect happening right now between what foreigners experience there and what locals are dealing with day to day. What feels cheap to somebody earning dollars, pounds, or euros can feel incredibly expensive to somebody earning local wages.
And this was honestly one of the biggest wake up calls for us during our research. Depending on the source, the average salary in Albania is still fairly low compared to most Western countries. And as of early 26, the national minimum wage was raised to about 50,000 lek, which is roughly around 520 euros a month.
And when you really stop and think about those numbers, that's when the whole idea of Albania being cheap starts looking very different.
Especially once you start looking at housing, which is something that we've obviously been researching very closely for our own move. In places like Tirana, Saranda, and Vlora, prices have gone up dramatically over the last few years.
And honestly, it feels like everybody suddenly rushed in at once. Tourism exploded, short term rentals exploded, digital nomads started showing up in large numbers, and Airbnbs listed, they are starting to multiply everywhere.
And we were reading recent reports showing that short term rentals in Tirana have increased massively in just a few years. And because landlords can make more money renting short term to tourists and foreigners, long term rentals for locals are becoming harder and harder to find.
And that's the uncomfortable part because some locals are actually getting pushed out of areas they've lived in for years.
In some of the neighborhoods that we've looked at ourselves, one bedroom apartments are now going for prices that literally equal or exceed an entire month's local salary.
And honestly, when you start realizing that, it changes how you look at all of it.
And this is kind of the strange thing about tourism in general. The second a place becomes the next big thing online, it starts changing.
And from everything that we've been seeing lately, Albania is changing fast.
Fast, just in the time that we have started researching it. It's like we need to hurry up and get there before we get crossed out too.
Yeah,
Dang.
especially in Tirana. Everywhere you look, there are cranes, new apartment buildings, luxury developments, and hotels going up.
One report that we saw said that nearly 10 million square meters of construction had been approved in Tirana over a 10-year period. And that is honestly hard to even fathom.
And the question a lot of people seem to be asking is, who exactly are all these developments really for?
Because while prices keep rising, many locals are struggling to keep up with the cost of living. Meanwhile, some of these new luxury apartments appear to be aimed more toward investors, foreigners, or short term rentals.
And all of this rapid growth is also putting pressure on infrastructure that honestly probably wasn't even designed for that kind of explosion in tourism.
We've read reports about water shortages in some coastal areas during the summer months, waste management issues, construction debris, environmental concerns, coastal erosion, you name it. We've heard it.
We've heard it. And some of the very things that people originally fell in love with there are starting to disappear.
And that's the part that really makes us stop and think.
And this is exactly why we wanted to make this video, because we're trying really hard to approach this move realistically and responsibly.
And if you appreciate these deeper conversations and the amount of research that goes into these videos, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. We are going to be documenting this entire journey, the exciting parts and the uncomfortable parts. Beyond the statistics and the construction, there's also a very real human side to all of this. And honestly, this part hit us pretty hard while we were researching it.
Because you start hearing stories from people living there. Small businesses struggling with rising rents, young Albanians feeling like they can't afford to stay in their own cities anymore.
And there's actually a sad irony in all of this. A lot of foreigners are moving to Albania looking for a more affordable life, while many young Albanians are leaving for that exact same reason.
And some locals are starting to feel like their own town doesn't even belong to them anymore.
We saw one comment online that said, Albania used to feel wild and untouched and full of nature, and now parts of it are starting to feel overdeveloped and overcrowded.
Look, we're not sitting here blaming tourists or expats. We are literally planning to move there ourselves. But we do think it's important to understand the impact tourism and foreign money can have on a country.
Because every decision that we make as travelers or future residents affects real people who already live there.
So, is this hype about Albania fake? Honestly, no. The beaches are beautiful, the mountains are incredible, and by all accounts, the hospitality there really is amazing.
The problem isn't that the good parts are fake. It's that there's another side to the story that people don't really talk about.
And honestly, things are changing really fast there right now.
For us, this isn't about canceling our plans or becoming negative about Albania. We're still incredibly excited. We cannot wait to get there. But we also want to go into this with our eyes wide open.
We can't just look at the pretty Instagram version of a country and stop there.
Because at the end of the day, we are moving into somebody else's country and culture, not just showing up for a vacation.
And honestly, that's something we want to be mindful of moving forward.
You know, I think about and we're guilty of it. We're just as guilty of this, saying, "Oh my gosh, it is so cheap to live there. It
Yeah.
is so cheap to live there." And it wasn't until we started really looking into everything that how American is that of us? No wonder people hate us, y'all. How American is it of us to go to somebody else's country where people are struggling to make ends meet?
Yeah.
And then we're going over there thinking, oh, that's cheap. Oh my gosh, look how cheap this is. It's not cheap for them.
And a lot of people, while they're over there visiting, they do that in front of the people.
I know.
And that's not right.
It's not right. And it's hateful. And I know that we've done it too, but it's not cheap for these people. And I get why people get mad that we're going over there. I see people all the time, like on these Facebook groups. I'm looking for an apartment, by the sea. I can pay $1,000 a month or something like that. And they're like, heck yeah. Well, what we're doing is we're pricing everybody else out. The people that can't afford that. I mean, if their salary is $500 a month, they can't afford $1,000 a month in rent. And there we go, jacking the price up because, of course, people want to make more money. Right? So if you're a landlord and you've got somebody willing to pay it, you're going to take it.
You need to stop and think, okay, yeah, we're going over there with a fixed income, but it's going to be more than what their locals actually make over there.
Exactly.
Okay. You don't want to go over there waving cash around. You don't want to go over there saying, I'll do that price. No. Bargain with the people when you get over there. Try to keep the prices down so that even the locals will still have their prices down. I mean, it's some of these landlords, in my opinion, are probably thinking these expats or immigrants that are coming over, they're going to pay top dollar for seaside or mountain views or anything. And what they're doing is they're jacking the price up.
Because we'll pay it.
And we are paying that price.
Because to us, it's still cheap.
Now, I've seen a bunch of videos. There's a couple people I have in mind. One of them's Jeff, Not Dead Yet Adventures. He really got me thinking after one of his last videos that he did that I watched. And you've got to go over there and be respectful. Mm-hmm. You've got to go over there and think, yeah, these people are working off this income here. What we're doing is we're showing up, or some rich people are showing up, and they're trying to add things on, to the place that hasn't even gotten caught up with certain things. They haven't gotten caught up with water. They haven't gotten caught up with some building and stuff like that. They're trying, they're working on it. But like we said, is that they're growing very fast right now. And us immigrants and expats, we're taking advantage of it. And I think it needs to stop.
Well, and I want to say, in all fairness, now there are some Albanian people that take advantage of us as well because they know they're Americans. They're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we've done it to ourselves, by going over there and being willing to pay for everything because it's cheap. I mean, we're doing it to ourselves. So, both sides are guilty of this. We are guilty of throwing it in their face. They're guilty of taking advantage of us. And so we just need to really keep that in mind and take a little bite of humble pie there. Yeah. And not just say, I just think that's so rude now that I've heard myself say it. Just think about how they're feeling. These people that are working so hard for so little money, and we're just like...
And the people over in Albania, from what we've heard from other people there, they are the nicest people. Mm-hmm. They will take their shirt off their back for you. To me, that's people I want to be around. Mm-hmm. And it's just...
We need to quit ruining it.
Yeah. That really needs to stop.
And we wanted to share all of this because it's becoming a really important part of our research and our decision-making process.
And if you'd like to follow our journey to Albania more closely, get behind the scenes updates, and support the channel, check out our Patreon, which is free, our channel memberships, or buy me a coffee. Links are listed down below.
And of course, we also have the Europats merch if you would like to support the channel that way as well.
And now we'd really like to hear from you. Have you been to Albania? Are you currently living in Albania? Have you noticed some of these changes happening there right now?
And whether you agree or disagree with us, we would honestly love to hear your perspective in the comments below. Let's have a respectful EVP NYC, respectful conversation about it. So thank you guys for watching. We really do appreciate every one of you. We hope you guys have a great week. Don't forget, we are here every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Central, and we go live every Sunday at 1 p.m. Central. You guys have a great week. Bye, y'all.
Bye bye.